Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Liaquat. We are going through Kanz al-Daqaiq. If you're not familiar with my channel, check out my videos, check out the things that I make. I cover all sorts of topics: Arabic, Hadith, Fiqh, Tafsir. Check it out and subscribe and share with other people as well. Let's start with Kanz al-Daqaiq. So Kanz al-Daqaiq, we've been going through this series for quite a while now. So Kanz al-Daqaiq is basically a Hanafi text, very condensed, quite, you can say, almost difficult for a totally beginner to try and understand it. That's why it requires explanation. So this is why I'm going through this series, but I'm not starting from the beginning of the book. I'm actually starting from the chapters related to transactions. So we've got through this and now we've reached near the end of the Khiyar or Ruya. He says, وَمَنِ اشْتَرَى مَا رَأَى خُيِّرَ إِن تَغَيَّرَ وَإِلَّا لَهُ. So he says, وَمَنِ اشْتَرَى, whoever purchases something that he has previously seen, خُيِّرَ. خَيَّرَ يُخَيِّرُ تَخْيِير means to be given a choice. He will be given a choice. What's that choice? إِن تَغَيَّرَ, if the item has changed from what it was when he last saw it, then he has the option of nullifying the contract. وَإِلَّا لَا, otherwise, if it's the same, then he does not have the right of nullifying the contract. He must accept the item as it is. So let's explain this in a bit of example now. So let's say, for example, like Zainab. Zainab has a friend, Fatima. Fatima last year had a laptop, right? And let's say it's an Apple Mac Pro. I don't know, you guys are fans of Apple. If you are, yeah. And if you're not, well, that's it. That's life. So Fatima has this laptop now. She's using a laptop and Zainab sees the laptop and says, oh, this is a very nice laptop. Checks it out, everything. Now, 1 year later, Fatima says to Zainab, remember that laptop that I showed you in my house last year? She says, yes. Do you want to buy it? She says, yeah, I'll buy it. Right. So she's seen it before. So let's say today is Friday. So today the deal was done. She pays her the money and she delivers the laptop to her the next day, Saturday. So she opens the laptop. Now, if she finds the laptop exactly as it was found when Zainab has seen it last year, then that means that she has no choice but must accept the contract. She cannot nullify the contract. Contract is binding, it's solid, it's fixed. However, if she was to see the laptop, she opens the laptop and she says, wait a minute, this has changed. This is not the same as it was last year. So if she sees a significant change in the laptop from what it was last year, she has the right to give the laptop back and also get her money as well. So she gets a full refund basically. The idea of this masala is basically when a person buys something, even if they have seen the item before, as long as the item has not changed, they must accept the item and the Khiyar al-Ru'ya has dropped. Past Ru'ya, meaning previous inspection of the item, is considered to be a sufficient inspection. However, if significant change has occurred, for instance, like what could be a significant change? For instance, like the color of the laptop is now different. She's changed the color of it. Or maybe even she's changed the software inside of it. That's a significant change as well. So those could be factors which could result in such a thing. Another example could be something like, let's say your friend had a jacket. You saw that jacket a few weeks ago, and now your friend is saying to you, would you like to buy this jacket? You say, yeah. When you take the jacket and you look at it, you go, wait a minute, this isn't the same as it was last time. So now you have the choice of giving it back. Why? Because مُبَادَلَةُ الْمَالِ بِالْمَالِ بِالتَّرَاضِ. There has to be this element of exchanging of wealth on both sides with taradi. There has to be an element of happiness and a person is willing to give their wealth. And in this case, unfortunately, it's not seen. So that's basically the masala over here. The next masala. وَإِذَا اخْتَلَفَا فِي التَّغَيُّرِ فَالْقَوْلُ لِلْبَائِعِ وَإِنِ اخْتَلَفَا فِي التَّغَيُّرِ فَالْقَوْلُ لِلْبَائِعِ. Okay. In اختلفا, if the two people, so the buyer and the seller. So let's say, for example, Zainab is the buyer and Fatima is the seller. So remember, Zainab had seen the laptop last year and now she says that no, this isn't the same laptop. So this is what we call a dispute. Now, disputes are normally dealt with in the courts, right? So this issue will now be taken to court. the judge will ask each person about the case. If they were to dispute, Fatima is saying the laptop has not changed, and Zainab is saying the laptop has changed. So how does a court deal with this kind of a matter? So the rule basically is that the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Al-bayyinatu al-mudda'i. The claim is upon the person who is, the evidence is upon the person who is making the claim. Yeah, so the onus of the proof is upon the claimant, and the defendant has to provide an oath. So how does this work then? So in this case, we have to figure out who is on the what we call the default position. Right? Is it normally the case that an item has not changed? Or is it normally the case that the item has changed? So here, the Hanafis say basically that the seller, who is Fatima, her statement is considered the norm. Right? Normally we would accept, or we would expect, the item to be the same really. As long as a long period of time has not passed, we would consider the item to be considered to be the same. And therefore, she is on the norm, so she in this case is considered to be the defendant. And as for Fatima, as for Zainab is actually making a claim that the item has changed, so therefore she is the person that is making a da'wah. Right? She's making a claim, so because she is making the claim, she is the one that will have to provide the evidence. So she'll have to provide, let's say for example, some photo pictures, maybe even some witnesses. So as long as she can provide evidence to prove that change has taken place, then she wins the case. So this is why it says, in ikhtalafa, if the two people, buyer and the seller, were to dispute, ikhtalafa yakhtalifu ikhtilaf fi at-taghayyur, regarding the change. So the seller is saying change has not occurred, the buyer is saying change has occurred. فَالْقَوْلُ لِلْبَائِعِ, the statement that will be considered in the courts will be the sellers. Now let me explain what this actually means, because this comes in like many Hanafi books, and I find this a lot when I'm teaching this. A lot of students get confused with this statement. What does it mean? Al-qawlu lil-bay'. So what this is short for, this is short for a longer statement. What's that longer statement? The longer statement is this. In ikhtalafa fi at-taghayyur, if the two dispute in the matter, then this is the statement. فَالْبَيِّنَةُ عَلَى الْمُشْتَرِي, the evidence is going to be upon the buyer. وَإِلَّا, and otherwise, if there is no evidence, فَالْقَوْلُ لِلْبَائِعِ مَعَ يَمِينِهِ. So what's hidden over here is الْبَيِّنَةُ عَلَى الْمُدَّعِي عَلَى الْمُشْتَرِي وَإِلَّا فَالْقَوْلُ لِلْبَائِعِ مَعَ يَمِينِهِ. That the evidence is upon the customer, the buyer. If they can provide evidence, they win the case basically. Otherwise, if they don't have evidence, then the judge will turn to the seller and will take his statement, however, with an oath. There has to be an oath there. This is why it's good to study Hanafi texts or any other texts that you study. Study it from a teacher. Study the first texts from a teacher, and you won't make this error of misconstruing or misunderstanding what the text is exactly saying. Everyone understand this? Excellent. I've got this bad habit, or not a bad habit. I've got a habit of, when I'm explaining something, I'll always ask the students, have you understood? Have you understood? Have you understood? وَلِلْمُشْتَرِي لَوْ فِي الرُّؤْيَةِ. So this is the second part of this masla now. Let's say the dispute, لو اختلف في الرؤية. If the dispute is regarding whether Zainab saw the laptop or not. So for example, like let's say Fatima does the deal with her, and then she sends the laptop on Saturday, and then Zainab opens this and says, I didn't see this laptop. I've never seen this laptop before. So now, is Zainab lying? Is she telling the truth? Fatima is saying, yes, you did see the laptop. And Zainab is saying, no, I did not see the laptop. So in this case, what are they going to do? So a transaction has taken place. Ijab, offer and acceptance has occurred. But the only issue over here is that when it comes to the courts, the courts obviously have to look at evidence. So in this case, who's on the norm? Like the customer, Zainab, is saying, I didn't see it. The buyer is saying, I didn't see it. And the seller is saying, you did see it. So who is making a claim and who is defending? So in this case, the mushtari, the customer, the buyer is actually right. They are on the norm. And the other person that says, the seller that says you did see it, they're making a claim. So the judge will again say to the seller, you provide evidence that Zainab saw this laptop. If she can provide evidence, let's say she's got witnesses that were there that saw, or she's got some other evidence, then she wins the case. Otherwise, if she cannot provide evidence, then the judge will turn to the buyer and will say to the buyer, swear an oath that you did not see the laptop. So then Zainab will say, Wallahi, I did not see the laptop. And then she wins the case. Otherwise, if she refuses, and this happens in any situation where the person is asked to swear an oath, they refuse, automatically the other party will win the case, right? Because why are they refusing to swear an oath? So walil mushtari law fi ru'yati, and the item or the qawl will be for the mushtari, meaning the statement, the judicial statement that will be taken with an oath will be for the mushtari law fi ru'yati, if the case is regarding seeing the item or not. That's the basic difference between these two mas'alas, right? So I'm not sure if you guys have come across these kind of mas'alas before. If you have come across some of these before, put it in the comments. Inshallah, I'd like to hear what you guys say as well. Finally, the last part. وَلَوْ اشْتَرَى عِدْلًا وَبَاعَ مِنْهُ ثَوْبًا أَوْ وَهَبَ رَدَّهُ بِعَيْبٍ لَا بِخِيَارِ رُؤْيَةٍ أَوْ شَرْطٍ. He says, لَوْ اشْتَرَى عِدْلًا. If a person was to buy a pile of food, or not food, a pile or a heap of items, right? So let's say it's clothes. For instance, like, let's say I have a shop and people send me items, right? They send me different types of items. You know, they might send me, let's say, shoes and trousers and things. So I've bought like loads of different things. I've got a shop and I can't sell all of these. So what I tend to do is I'll get the shoes, I'll get the trousers, I'll get a shirt, I'll get a hat and some gloves or something, and I'll pack them all together. And so I sell them in one bundle, right? So an idl is like a bundle of clothing. Whoever purchased a bundle of clothing, which has got, let's say, 5 pieces of clothing in there. So let's say, for instance, like, I am the shopkeeper, right? I'm the shopkeeper. You're the customer. You come to my shop. I say, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. How are you? You say, I'm fine. And you say to me, I would like to buy this bundle of clothing. I go, fine. This bundle of clothing costs £20. It's fine. Here's £20. Take £20. Hand over the bundle. Job done, yeah? Now what's happened is you've gone, and as you're going with this, someone has said to you, oh, what's that? And you say, oh, it's a bundle of clothes I bought from, Liaquat. And I say, and they say, yeah. Can I buy the shirt in there? So you go, there must be a shirt in there. So you haven't seen what's in that bundle. So that person, the other person, has opened it, taken a shirt without you seeing anything that's in there, and has paid you for it. So what's happened? You have not sold the whole pile of clothing, the bundle of clothing. You've only sold one item in there, right? Out of the 5 items, you've only sold one. So now there's 4 left. You haven't seen any of them. So if this happens, let's say you go home and you open it up and then you look at the rest of them and you find that, this isn't what you expected. Do you have a right to give it back or not? Because one of the items has gone from it now. So the rule is this: لو اشترى عدلا, if a person buys a bundle of clothing, 5 pieces of clothing, 10 pieces, 20, whatever, وباع منه ثوبا, and then that person, you, sold from that pack of clothing 1 item, or وهب, or returned the item, or gifted the item. So let's say, for example, someone else is walking there and they say, oh, it's a beautiful shirt, can I have it? You say, yeah, take it. It's a gift. It's yours. So you haven't seen any of it yet. رَدَّهُ بِعَيْبٍ. You're allowed to return the pack if you find a defect in the rest of the items. But you're not allowed to return it due to Khiyar Ruya inspection or shart or the 3 days. Right? So you are basically not allowed to return this item unless you find a defect in there. Does that make sense? Right? So here it's like the question is, we all know from before, if you sold the item that you purchased and then later on you get to find out, oh, right, this is what it looked like. I want it back. You don't have the right to take it back and you can't give it back as well. So here you haven't like given the whole thing to someone, you've only given one piece. Why is this the same then? Well, the reason it's the same is because whether you buy one item or whether you buy a bundle of items and you give one away, the receipt, the contract was one. So the price £20 was for the entire bundle itself. It wasn't for one piece of clothing. So that's the issue over here. If you were to separate one, how are you going to get the money back for the rest of the four? Because you've sold it, someone else has rights over that one piece of clothing. You can't get that back off them. And the other four now, you don't know how much the other four equal in the £20. Like, is the rest of the four for £15? Is it for £16? Is it for £10? You don't know. So that's why the Sharia does not allow you to be able to edit a receipt or edit a contract in this case. All right. So this is why over here he says, "Lo ishtara idlan." If a person was to buy an idl, a pack, a bundle of clothing, وَبَاعَ مِنْهُ ثَوْبًا, and he was to sell one cloth from it without seeing it. So that's the hidden thing here. Or wahaba, or he was to gift, wahaba yahibu, to gift one. رَدَّهُ بِعَيْبٍ, you are allowed, or he is allowed, to return the item to the seller, the bundle, if you find an aib in the other four. Right? La bi khiyar ruya, you can't do it through khiyar ruya. Right? Khiyar ruya drops for you, meaning that if you sell one item, khiyar ruya is gone, and khiyar shart has also gone as well. Right? So let's say you had taken the item for 3 days, and you sold one of them. Right? The other four you haven't sold, but because you sold one, your right in the others disappears as well. Alright, I hope that makes sense. That's alhamdulillah, that's the end of this chapter. And next we're going to start on the next chapter, inshallah. So, Jazakumullah khair. I hope you guys benefit from this. If you guys want to help my channel, support my channel, why not become a patron where you can sponsor my channel, support my channel on a monthly basis, and help me be able to provide and produce content like this. And also, thank you very much to all my current patrons for all your support, and the past patrons as well. You guys are wonderful people. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of you. Thank you very much. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair, guys, for all of your support. Without your support, I wouldn't have been able to produce the videos that I've put up on my YouTube channel. And there is so much more that I really want to do. And without the support of you guys who are patrons, generously supporting this channel, I've been able to get myself a camera, which, as you guys can see, the quality of this camera, a mic system, software. I've been able to hire an editor. So what do I want to do? I want to make lots and lots and lots of more videos for beginners, for intermediate, advanced, in the subjects like Arabic and fiqh and hadith and tafsir and aqidah and all those other things as well. And for this to happen, again, this channel needs support. So if you guys want to become patrons and support this channel, then check out the link below. Also, if you do become patrons, you'll have access to videos that I don't put up on my normal YouTube channel. So check that out, inshallah. And there's most other perks as well that you guys can benefit from. And if you want to access this channel through social media, we've got Twitter, we've got Instagram, Facebook page, and other things as well that you can visit. So Jazakumullah khair again, guys. Thank you very much for your support. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair for watching this video. I hope to see all of you guys. If you guys are interested, please leave us feedback, get in contact with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.